Welcome back. You're listening to Artists Talk with LVA. I'm the host, Keith Waits. The show is produced by Louisville Visual Art, and we are talking today about the 2022 Art Squared. I'm stumbling over this. My guest will have to do better. Online auction, the third year that it's online. And with me today is Elizabeth Feldpausch. She is a trust principal with the Glenview Trust Company and a licensed attorney in the states of Kentucky, Indiana, and Florida, which seems impressive to me. Maybe that's a common thing. I don't know. In addition to being a member of the Kentucky Bar Association, she is also a member of the Louisville Bar Association and the Estate Planning Council of Metro Louisville. She earned her Juris Doctorate from the University of Kentucky Rosenberg College of Law, where she served as a staff editor and editorial board member on the Kentucky Journal of Equine, Agriculture, and Natural Resources Law. She is a magna cum laude graduate from Georgetown College, where she earned a double major in psychology and communication and media studies, and currently serves on the Georgetown College Alumni Board. A Louisville native, Elizabeth is a graduate of Louisville Eastern High School. She serves as secretary and director of the board for Louisville Visual Art. She is a volunteer big sister with Big Brothers Big Sisters and a member of the Junior League of Louisville. Additionally, Elizabeth participated in the Fund for the Arts Next Ambassador Program class of 2020 and participated in Focus Louisville in 2021. And Elizabeth, I've worked with you so much, and I think you're a lot of fun and really cool, but I had no idea how impressive you were until I had this bio to do for the show.
You sound very impressive and very busy. I got tired listening to you read that.
Well, and I, you know, I hesitate to go too much length when I'm introducing people, but honestly, this, you know, I don't have board members on very often because just, I don't know, for whatever reasons, and you're not an artist, but we wanted to really talk about this event. You are the chair for the Art Squared event now, and you have been for 3 years. And I don't know. So first, let me just ask, let's let you talk. Let's get off of my voice. And so if somebody listening has no idea what Art Squared is, what is it? What would you want them to know about it, and what you think makes it an exciting event to get participating in?
Yeah, kind of how I describe it to my friends and family when they ask me about it is kind of exactly what it is. It's an art auction. And I think what's neat about it is it's a way for people who are interested in starting to collect art to really get involved and see local artists at work. And I think that's the most important thing. And it's also a way to raise money for LVA. So that's kind of, you know, what I tell people is it's a way to really get into the collecting of art, you know, at a lower scale.
Well, and so besides being the chair, I'm pretty sure you've bought a few pieces yourself along the way.
Yeah, I've bought a piece every year, and kind of what was fun is last year I bought a piece and I'd eyed it all night, and finally I was like, oh, maybe I'll let it go because it, you know, it's an art auction, and so it was kind of getting above, you know, at first what I wanted to spend, and then at the artist night that we had last year, I actually was looking at it, and a guy came up behind me and was like, are you going after that piece? And I turned around and actually said, are you bidding against me? Because I thought maybe, you know, he was there bidding against me, and it actually ended up being the artist. And so I was like, oh, that makes me want it even more. And so it was really nice, you know, for me as a board member to get to interact with the artist whose piece was on the wall that I was going after, and kind of made me want it even more. So
Who was the artist?
John Embry.
Ah, okay, cool. Well, and it is, we should probably, people might remember from the past, is that this was for several years an in-person event where the canvases were all at a set price, and you had to buy a ticket and come to the event to buy it. And then we had to pivot. The first year you were chair, we did it online, and because we had to. And if I have to explain why we had to do that, then I can't believe anybody really needs me to explain why we couldn't do the in-person event 3 years ago. But, you know, we were scared to death that it just, you know, we felt like we had to try, and we turned to the online option, to the 32 Auctions website. Our design coordinator, Amy Chase, researched several and found that one to be, she thought, the best for what we were trying to do. And we were just thinking we'd be lucky if maybe we raised half the money we normally raise, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And then what happened was we raised, I don't know, we raised what, 20, it's hard to remember now, 20-30% more money than we had on in previous years.
And then from the first year I did it, which was our first year online, to the second year, which was last year, it was almost double the year before. So, you know, we found that I never got to experience the in-person event, unfortunately, but we found that this has been a really great way to expose more people to the auction, because it's not just people in Louisville now. We had people, you know, in California last year, and, you know, all over the country participating and trying to buy these pieces. So
right, we shipped work afterwards to about, I think, 12 or 13 different states. And it was enough to realize, and more pieces than that. That was how many states.
Yeah.
Because well, and I expect to ship maybe to Indiana or Ohio or somewhere nearby. And I expect maybe if somebody used to live here or they know an artist here, but we shipped enough to out of state to realize that we were getting an audience of people just looking for opportunities to buy art online. And that's the important thing, is that I think to emphasize is that we didn't just make more money because the auction format allows pieces to sell for more money, but we sold many more pieces. I was just checking today.
Yeah.
I remember when it was an in-person event, we used to sell maybe 160 pieces. Like, that was a really, really good number. And then I think last year we sold 202 pieces or something like that. You know, like, so that we have increased it. We are getting more buyers involved. So this year, though, we've had to change our venue. Talk a little bit about where we're actually going to hang the art and have the artist appreciation party.
Yeah, so we are actually pivoting and going to go to Core Gallery, which is owned by Don Cartwright, who's also a fellow board member. So we're really appreciative of him letting us use that space, because some of you may know that we are in the process of renovating the LVA location on Lytle in Portland. And with this heat and no air there, I don't know how many people would want to come look at art there anyway. So, but, you know, Don has been very gracious to let us set up at Core Gallery downtown, and we're really looking forward to it. We were able to go over and tour it a few weeks ago to kind of look at the layout. And then Keith will be busy at work on Monday getting our 320-ish pieces hung, which is almost a record, I think, as well, for the amount of artwork that was submitted from artists in the community. So I think it'll be a really great event, and we're going to have a really great space.
Well, there's also 4 featured artists, which, excuse me, as the day we're recording this, which is the day before it airs, I think we have an air quality alert. So if you wonder why anybody has any problem breathing or having a cough, it's because this is like one of the worst days for the air in Louisville. So we have 4 terrific artists, Sabra, Crockett, who you will have we're coming in on the show right after an interview with Sabra Crockett that I recorded, and Shamel Ford, Simone Brown, and Nikolai Donjoff. And they're doing something bigger than 8x8. They're doing a roughly 24 by 24 inch. Simone's is a little bit different size because she's using acrylic sheets to make a layered piece. So there are some pieces that, you know, maybe if you do want to spend a little more money, or you can have a little bit more room on your wall. But so let me ask you, so you've bought each year, because we see a lot of buyers do this. I've actually seen some, or they've sent pictures. I've seen some in people's homes, like board members and stuff like that, where they have taken a wall and started an 8x8 wall. Are you doing that yet?
So I haven't started a wall. You know, this is only going to be my 3rd year. So I've just tried to buy a piece every year. So I only have 2 right now, but I've kind of, when I look at them, I think about my house and what room it would go in. So right now I've got mine in 2 different rooms that just kind of, I think, match the decor in those rooms, or the colors go together. So that's kind of what I look at when, you know, I'm trying to figure out which piece I want, is what room in my house would this look the best in, and go that way. But hopefully one day I'll collect enough to where I can hang them, you know, have a nice art squared wall in my home.
So, you know, maybe I should start a special segment of Artist Talk with LVA, where it's Collectors Talk with LVA.
Yeah. I like that.
People talk about, the art they've collected, and
Mhm.
we have historically in Louisville had a very good, um, um, we had people who collect art locally and otherwise from other locations as well, perhaps. Um, but I have often felt, uh, I worked for LVA for a couple years in the 80s, and I've worked now for a little bit more than 16 years. And it seems like that's a generation, one generation, and that the newer generations have not made the same level of commitment yet
Mhm.
to buying art. And that's one of the things that we like to think we're trying to accomplish here, is that this is really, it's a fundraiser, but it's also an event to encourage collectors, like you were saying before. Um,
And
and
that's why I love it, is it is an affordable way to start buying art, because that's, has been a limitation with me as a young person. Is, sometimes I feel like I've gone into a few galleries downtown. I'm like, I would love that, but I don't have, $2,000-3,000 or whatever to buy it. But, starting at these lower numbers, it allows you to get your foot in the door and start learning about local artists and get
right.
started.
Well, and so it provides an opportunity then for artists who aren't as well known, or who aren't really exhibiting on a regular basis anywhere. But so some of those pieces are like little gems. But we also have some people who you will have heard of, like Chuck Swanson has a piece in this year. Some of the better known artists in town, John Bagley and Peter Morn, both contribute a piece. I should have a list in front of me here where I could tell you. Terry Dryden
Mhm.
has contributed a piece. Daniel Falsgraf has contributed a piece.
Mhm.
So, if you Terry Dryden has a terrific show up right now over at Wheelhouse Art, which is owned by Daniel Falsgraf. But I think that you could, in theory, get a piece for lower if
Mhm.
you bought Terry's piece from us. So it
Yeah.
is a place for bargain hunters, but you don't have to sacrifice quality in
Yeah.
the production. There's a lot of really terrific work, and
Mhm.
sometimes from artists that we've not heard of ourselves, and it just really kind of amazes us, the kind of stuff that comes through.
Yeah.
So, but so I don't want to keep you too long here. I just wanted to have an opportunity to talk, and I'm glad you are the chair, Elizabeth. That's why I chose you. But having
Mhm.
that impressive biography does give me the opportunity to sort of show off to people what a great group of people we have on our board.
Yeah.
And how much they'll work on stuff. But like our board, I knew you were smart, and now I know why. You probably were born smart, but you also got all the good education. So,
Mhm.
but it's
Get
also
it
nice.
from my mom.
Well, there you go. Props to mom. But also it's nice to see, tip of the hat to the fact that you've been involved in these, that you're a big sister, and these other kinds of things besides being on our board, for which we're
Mhm.
very grateful. Um, these are the kind of people that you want on board, the kind of people who understand why you want to be there, why you want to give to the community. So
Mhm.
thank you for being on our board.
This was my first board, and I don't think I could have picked a better one to start my board experience with. So I'm thankful to be on it.
Well, we may keep you. We may
Yeah.
keep you for a long time. Or at
Yeah.
least if you leave, you can always come back, and this will be your last board too.
Yeah.
Years later, when I don't know if it'll be me interviewing you, but
Yeah.
somebody can
Be
talk to
around, Keith.
you, maybe, or maybe the virtual reality version of me, a holograph of me.
Yeah.
But well, so Elizabeth Feldpausch, thanks for talking to me today. And again, Art Squared is next week. The bidding begins on Tuesday, July 21st at 6 p.m. on the
Mhm.
32 Auctions website. And I think you just go to 32 Auctions, just type in Louisville Visual Art. I think it's that simple. I
Yeah, there
haven't
should also be a link through the Louisville Visual Art website too, if anyone's having a hard time finding it.
Right. You just go to the website, go to the drop down under events. It's not, we try to make it easy to find, but it's not necessarily all there is on the website, because we do a lot of things, just to put in a little note here. Our grant writer, Grant Johnson, was working on something the other day and coming up with, I think that we are actually active. Our programming exists in more than 100 different locations throughout Louisville and the surrounding area, which
That's impressive.
and I'm there every day, and that
Mhm.
that surprised me. It impresses me
Yeah.
how many times.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Because CFAC is in schools all over the city and other community centers and things like that. So I don't know. There's like 30 or 40 locations just for children's fine art classes in the Academy at LVA. Just that alone.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we could go on and on and on about those 100 locations. So we won't do that right now. But thanks again, Elizabeth, for talking to me today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.